Chapter 4. The next day after school, Ben checks on the frog in the bucket. It's still just sitting there, and it doesn't seem very happy. It doesn't seem very much of anything. He feels bad. He knows he should let it go, but he doesn't want to yet. He takes a plastic grocery bag and a garden trowel into the backyard, where he digs up some dirt, grass, and wet leaves. Next, he wanders out under the big trees and finds some worms under an old log. He plops them into the bag. Then he takes his bag back to the garage and puts the things he's gathered into the bucket with the frog. It's not much of a home, he thinks, but it'll have to do for now. The next morning, a few minutes before time to leave for the bus stop, Ben goes out into the garage to check on the frog. It doesn't seem to have moved since the night before. He feels bad leaving it there all day, so he picks it up and slips it in his jacket again. It'll be fun having a secret frog in his pocket. By the time he gets to school, he wonders what he was thinking. Was he nuts? What do you do with a frog in school? Ben doesn't want to be there. Why would a frog want to be there either? He's afraid to leave the jacket hanging on the peg in the coat room, so he keeps it on. Mrs. Kutcher asks him to take it off, but Ben tells her he's cold. All through the morning, he keeps checking his pocket. The frog just sits there, barely moving. Once, when Ben puts his hand in his pocket, the frog squirms a little, like it's trying to get away. "It's okay, buddy," he whispers. "At least it's warm in there." Today, Mrs. Kutcher leads the kids down to science class. Mrs. Tibbets isn't in the classroom again, but there's a note on the door saying she's working with the first graders on the other side of the school. Mrs. Kutcher looks at the note and says, "All right, class, you're all fifth graders and know how to behave yourselves. Have a seat until Mrs. Tibbets is back." Everyone takes their seats. Mrs. Kutcher watches them for a moment, then turns and walks down the hall. The class is alone again. Everyone sits at their desks quietly for about 30 seconds. Then they all start talking. Ben checks his pocket again. Ryan notices. "What are you doing?" It's too good a secret to keep. Ben wants to share it with someone, even if it's only Ryan. He pulls out the frog. As soon as he does, he realizes it's a mistake. Nothing stays a secret with Ryan for long. The kid leaps from his desk and hops over to Ben's on one foot. "Cool, a frog. Where'd you get it?" "Shh." Ben tries to calm Ryan down. "I found it behind my house." "What are you going to do with it?" "I don't know. Just keep it, I guess." "Why don't you scare somebody with it?" Ryan asks. "Or put it down someone's back. Here, let me hold it." Ryan reaches for it, just like he did the mouse. "I've got to put it back," Ben says. But Ryan already has his fingers on the frog. "Ryan, no!" Ryan's not listening. He can't listen. It's exactly like what happened the other day. What is wrong with this kid? Other kids gather around to see what's going on. Ben pulls the frog away from Ryan, but it wriggles out of his hands. It falls to the floor and sits there. Frankie pounces. "Got it!" he yells. He holds it up and starts to run around the room with it. He shoves it in Janice Decker's face. "Here, kiss it. Give the toady a little kiss." "Stop it," she squeals. "Come on, Frankie, give it back," Ben pleads. "It's not yours, and it doesn't like that." "Poor toady, doesn't like kissing girls." Frankie turns so Ben can't reach the frog and laughs hysterically. "What's going on now?" Mrs. Tibbets' voice rings out. Everybody stops what they're doing and looks at her standing in the doorway. "In your seats, right this minute." Kids scramble to their desks. Ben doesn't move. He wants the frog back, but is afraid to go after it. It's dead quiet. Mrs. Tibbets walks into the room and slams a stack of books down on her desk. "I expect you to act like ladies and gentlemen when I'm out of the room," she says. "I have to walk all the way across the school to get back to you. Surely you can wait quietly for a minute." Then she notices Ben standing there. He isn't sure what to do. Frankie's in his seat, trying to look innocent. "Ben," Mrs. Tibbets says, "that means you too." "I know, but—" Ben starts. "But what? In your seat right now." There's nothing for Ben to do but head to his seat. He glances at Frankie, who's still holding on to the frog. Frankie isn't laughing now. In fact, His mouth is twisted into a scowl and his face is turning red. Everyone knows that Frankie has a frog. Everyone but the teacher. Mrs. Tibbets turns to the whiteboard and starts to write on it. The room is quiet for all of 10 seconds. "Oh, gross!" Frankie yells, leaping from his chair. "It pooped on me!" He drops the frog to the floor and holds his hands out like they have toxic waste on them. Everyone shrieks and laughs. "He pooped! He pooped!" Ryan squeals. He's up out of his seat, dancing around. Mrs. Tibbets whirls around and glares at the class like they've all lost their minds. "What in heaven's name?" "It pooped on my hands!" Frankie moans. Then she sees the frog. It's just sitting there like it belongs in science class. She walks over and looks down at it. The classroom is dead quiet now. Someone's going to die, Ben thinks, and it will probably be me. "Frankie," Mrs. Tibbets says, "did you bring this into class?" She hasn't moved from where she's standing. "No," Frankie says. His face is still red. "He did," he says, pointing at Ben. "He brought it into class and let it go, and I caught it so it wouldn't get hurt." Ben feels sick to his stomach. He knows he's in hot water, but he's more worried about the frog. He never should have brought it into school. He's about to go grab the creature and is ready to take whatever punishment he gets. But Mrs. Tibbets bends over and grasps the frog at its hips. The frog kicks its legs, and every single kid looks at Mrs. Tibbets in wonder. She cups it in her hand and strokes it underneath its chin. "Ooh," someone says. Mrs. Tibbets looks around at the class, and a mischievous smile spreads across her face. She kisses the frog.